All right. Good Thursday evening. It's your boy, your country boy.
Your country boy, and it's your city girl,
Eric
and Elaine.
Of ericandelaine.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is our Heal Thy Relationship series. And we're going to talk about this is kind of deviating from the path too on the tips. Want to get some information, check in with you guys and see, hey, have you?
You have to take a break.
Yeah, I got to take a break because as men, have you been in a situation where you were concerned on whether or not to offer assistance to a woman who you didn't know or whatever, just a stranger, a courtesy type situation, opening a door or helping with, heavy items or whatever, pack a bag or something for it. Have you ever felt like you couldn't do that?
And ladies, on the other hand, have you been the one that perhaps you didn't want to accept, or because of whatever the common thing that's in society, right? You just kind of like, I got this. I don't need your help, right? Have you been there?
Yeah. Or what about the ladies who have needed the assistance?
Yes, you needed the assistance, and then you're just like really don't know if you should even ask.
Yeah. Or if guys want to help and you. So we're going to talk about that today. All right. Here we go. Let's get into it. All right.
All right.
So
I'm always single.
Oh no.
You would swear that I walked around and just I'm always glorifying everything with my voice.
Yes.
That's when you're supposed to say, yes,
you do. It works. It works for me all day.
All right, so we're in the topic.
Yeah.
And I think it's a topic that I think we really need to have more discussions around, because it's something that we see a lot of confusion around, in my opinion.
Right, because has the anti-masculinity movement has it killed chivalry? Is chivalry dead?
Is chivalry dead? Isn't that something? And definitely, I think I want to know: do men feel pressure, to help? Do men feel pressure to, or to not help? Let's look at it from that perspective, because there is this thing where most of us as women, it's a lot of it where it's it's kind of like it's known, hey, women can do right just as much as a man can, right? And I have faced certain things.
Of the sexes type thing.
Right. And and when we dealt with teaching workshops and the couples and even the single people in the workshops, and I've had a guy to actually say, you know what, I tried to help this lady by opening the door for her, and she was like, I don't need you to open the door for me. I can open the door for myself. And it literally, you could see he just like his shoulders just sunk, even when he was telling the story. And so I thought about that, and it's like, is that really the fight?
Can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan.
Right. Are we still in the mode of feeling like we have to prove, what we can do?
What but what is that even proving what a woman can do? Because there's some men that can do some things that women can't do, and that's been the norm. We know that. But there are some things, there are some women that can do things that men cannot do, you know.
Can never.
And let's go on to that, you know, and not to say that a woman should be at home barefoot and pregnant or whatever,
Right,
but
right.
you bring a whole soul into this world. You bring a whole soul into this world, and beyond that, your influence, and so on and so forth. The thing is, we need each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't understand why does it have to be a battle of the sexes. Well, let's just talk about the whole, you know, thing. Now, we have a lot of people out there saying a lot of things about, you know, elites. You know, you get a lot of conspiracy theories, things about you need, you know, if you emasculate the male, you know, the women and children are left vulnerable, right? Some of these guys, if you ever go on to bitshoot.com.
Don't say it too fast.
Yeah, and around your wife. Don't say it around your wife too fast.
Okay.
Or another woman, you know, well, don't say it around nobody too fast.
Right.
Because they be like, what you call me?
What you say?
But if you want to get some, you know, I go, because I'm a firm believer, you can't listen to one, you can't hear one hand clapping. You need a contrasting view to get a sound, right? So in that same way, BitChute has a lot of conservative views on it, on that particular website. And yeah, you got a lot of different, you know, views, understanding some things that's not, you know, reported in mainstream news. You know, I'm just not a proponent of you know, getting all your information from one source.
Yeah,
and everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's three stories, you know, three sides to every story. You know, your side, the other person's side, and the truth. So for me, I try to see the truth, you know, when you put that whole picture together, you know, because
So seeing all perspectives.
all perspective. So anyway, there's things that they say about, you know, the you know, lead, the, you know, shadow government or whatever. Say all these different things about the fact that this other movement, the, you know,
all of the movements.
Yeah, so all the movements
There are a number of
had some things to do with leaving women and children vulnerable and having a bit more control over the population. So you have that. Then you have in academia, you have the psychologists and sociologists that are coming out with information regarding what's called the boy crisis. If you ever seen this book, I'm going to show you guys this book, the boy crisis, where it talks about how even when you have removed the father from the home, you've created a culture of the father not being at the home. And this is in all you know, all nationalities and socioeconomic income backgrounds and so on and so forth. First, back in the day, in the 80s, if you think back to you know, just really discrediting the father.
And even in the sitcom.
Yeah, in the sitcoms, the movies.
Yeah.
You look at places like
what we call it, they stupefied.
Yeah,
the dad.
That's right. They did. Because I mean, you had powerful dads, you know, like Eight Is Enough in the 70s. You had James Evans, you know, was a strong dad, involved dad. You had Brady. What was his name? What was his first name?
Tom
Brady.
Oh,
no, not Tom Brady. I say the basketball player. I ain't watched the NFL in so long. No, he was NFL.
The dad.
Greg.
Greg.
I think it's Greg.
No, that was the son.
No, that's a son.
Greg, Michael, Bobby, something like that. Was it Mike?
Ricky, Bobby, Mike. No.
Anyway,
the dad from he was an architect. He went to work. He came home.
Mhm.
He was a dad. But when you get to the 80s, then you have National Lampoon's Vacation, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
With Chevy Chase.
Yeah. That's true.
And then you had in the 90s, My Wife and Children. If you look at My Wife and Kids, that's right. No, this is My Wife and Children. Love and Marriage.
No, that's Marriage.
Marriage with Kids.
Marriage. Something like that. Y'all know who we're talking about.
Anyway, so you had him and you had these shows. And if you look at the father figure, also what started in the 80s was the praise of the single mom. The heroism of the single mom. Think back. Think back to even in Terminator. When Terminator came out.
Mm-hmm. Or even the the more dominating moms, like in the Roseanne Barr show.
Oh yes,
and she was married, and but he was more laid back and just kind of not that men shouldn't be laid back.
Yeah, you should be. You should be.
She had more, more of the domineering influence and set the tone for the family, so to speak. With the just being the one with the attitude of how the family,
sarcastic mouth.
Yes, how they talk, how they dealt with each other, and screaming throughout the house and everything. And I don't oppose screaming throughout the house. I can't be around me sometimes, but yeah, it was
all your children screaming around the house.
Okay,
go tell your sister such and what a naughty.
Yes, it just happened.
Go.
Yes, this week.
Go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it was definitely, and we've seen to your point, we've seen that move from throughout time, right? We've seen it move from the dads being, having the leadership. And not that a woman can lead. Those of you who are not trying to find something to pick apart here, you understand what we're saying, right? But there was a time where the man, where he felt comfortable in, what his natural innate abilities
in his skin
and were, right, and being how he was designed. And so even with what kind of brought this, I was looking and I read an article or what have you, and this woman was talking about how she literally went on this trip, and she said she was struggling with her luggage, right? And in struggling with her luggage, she noticed that there were 3 men, on her way to this event. There were 3 men on the plane, and they saw her struggling, and 2 of them that were sitting in their seats kind of put themselves up, to help her automatically. And then the man that was kind of closer to her, he of course grabbed the luggage, the suitcase, and he went ahead and, said, "You need help?" And he pushed it up, right? And she said on the way back home, she mentioned how she saw the dynamic change, the shift, because on this route, this flight back home, there were men, of course, and her suitcase was actually heavier. She said going back. And so she was really literally struggling. And the guys that were on the plane, you could tell a few of them wanted to help, but they kind of just, that you could tell they just kind of gripped their seats, the armrests or what have you, and they didn't offer to help. And even the guy that was, closer in vicinity or whatever, there was a couple of other guys, and they were just like, oh, no, let her, she's got it. But you could tell they were confused. Like,
but
do I
wanted to help?
Yeah, do I help her not?
And the thing that stuck out to me the most too was the fact that on both trips there was a contrast. Mm-hmm. That was an older generation on the first, and a younger generation on the second.
So what does that tell us?
So it's like, man, if you were a teenager coming up in what was that? That was when did that particular movement start?
It's 90s.
No,
When you're talking about the, that
was that in the 2000s?
Yeah, it was early 2000s.
Early?
Yeah, late 90s, probably early 2000s.
No, the Me Too just came out in the
You
teens.
just said it. Great.
Was it the teens? I think it was the teens. But anyway, but coming up, because you see, it was in the news so much. Now, those guys.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Those guys, rightfully so. You got these executives that are doing, but I think it should have been balanced, because that was a judge that was accused too, but that got no traction.
Mm-hmm.
It had no traction whatsoever. That was a judge that was groping men and so on and so forth. And so women do it too.
And I think too, we know that there was the mindset of most men, that especially that were being exposed, it needed to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a shift in how women were being viewed,
hyper-masculinity.
And the hyper-masculinity and all of that, the misogyny and all of those dynamics, right? That needed to be addressed.
Yes.
We
don't take away from that.
We never will take away from that, because we have how many daughters? How many daughters did he give me? Yeah.
You got it.
So we will never take away from that. We have to speak for our daughters and speak for women, and I always will. But we definitely know that there were some things that needed to change. However, we always, there's like this toss, it seems like there's a struggle with, which end of the pendulum, right? Mm-hmm. Is, and there's just a balance in everything. And so we've seen over time where it has been the dumbing down of our men, the taking away from them and how they are designed. Like, so what are some of the things that men are like their innate design or abilities, right? Normally boys and guys like to pick up stuff. They like to protect.
Pick up stuff?
Yeah, y'all like to pick
sound
up
like
stuff.
Cavemen or something. Let's go pick up something. Hey, I pick up something.
But you like to show, come on, think about it. I remember the little boys in the neighborhood, even at school. We went to private school later on, but it was something to see like them like trying to, like push up, and stuff like that. And like they come in, like trying to show their little biceps and pecs and all this kind of stuff,
But no, it was never the pecs.
It was never
the pecs. It was always the
biceps. We'll see.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyways. But so y'all like to to really perform, shall I say? Is that okay?
Okay, perform. I mean, I think both sexes perform in a different way. In different ways.
In different ways.
Yeah. So in that particular way,
but they like to be needed.
Right.
Okay. Now, and on just in the sense of praise. And again, this goes across the board, truly. But when we look at the way that men were designed, they want to fix stuff. They want to make sure that, hey, when I remember when, our house got broken into and, and we're third ward on the good side, next door to the washateria, right? My brother was the one that was sent, like in the house. Like mom was like, go and see if ain't nobody else in the house. While we were standing outside, like, oh my gosh. Or my brother's like, what you want me to do? I'm only 14, right? But there's this thing or what have you, but don't let anybody come and try to mess with his sisters or his mama. And what is he doing? He's coming to handle business, right? And
I remember doing that as a kid.
For
7 years old, somebody was trying to break in the house, and me and my sister was at home. And this is Gen X stuff. Okay, so don't come for my mama. My mama was handling her business. She was doing the best she could. Understand? So don't come for my mama.
That's right. Not too much on her mama.
All right. So my sister and I were at home. So I guess if I was 7, then she was 12. or whatnot, and somebody was trying to come in the window, and I went to get a knife, and they was going to have to come through me.
So
You
what
know,
was it in you that made you feel like you needed to go and pick up the knife?
I don't know, and then that was another thing that was a level of feeling like the little man of the house.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
now I ain't gonna sit there and say that there weren't times that I was scared. I mean, I was scared at that moment, but I was like, you know what? It
Mhm.
wasn't somebody to tell me
Yeah.
to do that, but uh, uh, yeah, that back then too, that man it was killing them young black boys over in Georgia,
Mhm.
and I used to be terrified to. I had to wash dishes,
Mhm.
so the windows, you know, we had a window right there in front of the kitchen sink and everything, and I was like, man, he gonna get me. And everything. So, but so it wasn't about, you know, just, you know, whether or not as a young man you were afraid of something. It was just, I like the service,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
Yeah. And in the way that men serve, right? It's to protect, right?
Right,
It's to you don't want to see somebody struggling,
right.
right? You don't want to see, somebody, that's trying to carry a bunch of things.
Now I will say this though,
Mhm.
Mama, so like your mama uh, told your brother to go and take care of that
Mhm.
or whatever. Mama, she made sure. I remember paying for gas, and I had better brought
Mhm.
the correct cash back
Mhm.
because she was raising me to be a man. She wasn't raising me to be a boy,
Absolutely.
right? She gave me
Good job,
responsibility.
Mama.
She gave me responsibility around the house.
Mhm.
And there was another thing that, you know, when I moved back to Houston and uh, we were living in this particular area, and she had to catch the bus
Mhm.
once. You know, the
Right.
car was down, or uh, uh, you know, we had some situations happen where, you know, the car was taken. You know, uh, anybody know about, you know, family with addictions? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You ain't gotta be
yeah. Well, I
scared to
wasn't
say
trying to
it.
get. I wasn't trying to, you know, put all the business out
But
there
you
like
ain't
that.
gotta be scared to say it.
Anyway,
It's
so
real. Like,
we had a situation with a family member we had an addiction issue, and we lost the car.
yes.
Okay, the car was repo. So anyway, mama gotta go. I ain't gotta go through all that.
I mean, you were struggling going around.
I was trying to see how to
being
just,
nice. Listen,
I was just saying.
many of us in our lifetime, at some point or another, or our parents' lifetime, have been there, right?
Right. So anyway,
But
I would have to get up
yes,
early in the morning,
yeah.
and for me, it was a no-brainer that take my even when I had my car, and you know, Friday night we got to go wash clothes. There wasn't no going to the girls. You know, wasn't no girl
Mhm.
gonna stop me from being with mama
Mhm.
to go and
And
take care
help,
of, you know, and
yeah.
help with groceries,
Mhm.
help with, you know.
And so that's what I'm saying, and so
Oh,
that
well, that was my point. Was
okay.
that sometimes a young man does, you know, has been raised
Hmm.
that way, and at one point that was the culture
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
the United States, and it's shifted. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we saw. Like we saw, we saw strength in the light of being protected and provided for, right, by the men in our lives at one time, right, and it was a pride in that for the men, right, and they felt needed, they felt worthy, right, and the same thing, with my brother, he was always the one that was sent out. Like if it was, if somebody had to leave early in the morning, he had to get up and walk them. When it was time, if Mama needed, because Mama didn't have a car to teach him how to how to pump gas and get all that. We didn't have a car because I mean we just did third ward on this side next. So she watched here. We didn't have a car, but when she needed something from the store and it was getting dark, she wasn't sending us girls. She was sending my brother, right? She was sending the mail. So because she knew that there was, and we had this, this thing where, 9 times out of 10, he can throw down, right? He can protect himself, right? And so there's just
Oh, you won't be
that
as
piece,
much of an easy target.
that part.
Because that's a shame that the perception is, that a woman is an easy target
Yeah.
or whatnot.
Yeah.
And listen, for those of you out there, let me just say this disclaimer.
Okay.
For those of you who out there who define, you don't, what they call it, non-binary, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You choose what, let me say, that ain't my business.
That ain't our business.
That's not my business.
That's not our fight.
Not our fight. So we're not trying to exclude anybody.
Right.
We're just talking about the folks who do, espouse either or, and everything. So just to say that, but John Gray, not the pastor, Warren Farrell and John Gray wrote this book, The Boy Crisis. I'm in your face. I'm not to be in your face. I'm not trying to be in mine either. That is. But it talks about the crisis that we're in for young men right now. Let's see here. It's a crisis of education. It's a crisis of mental health. It's a crisis of fathering, a crisis of purpose, what we're talking about right now. So what is the boy crisis? It's a comprehensive blueprint for what parents, teachers, and policymakers can do to help our sons become happier, healthier men and fathers and leaders worthy of respect, right? Because I'm not getting into the premise, some of the findings here, because it goes really, really deep.
And
the
I
purpose
think,
void is part 3.
yes.
The purpose, kind of what we're talking about right now. That some of these, not that you're born and your purpose is to serve women. No, it's a courtesy.
And again, but it's how we were created. We just have to. All we're saying is that there are certain ways that we were literally created and designed that are different.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that, there's just a nurturing way that women have. That's just, many times we say, a nurturer by nature, right? Because that is just something that comes easy for most girls, right? Is playing with their dolls, or just seeing a new baby, right? And seeing a baby and just wanting to hold a baby. And I remember, just can I hold her? Can I hold him, or what have you? And it's just the power that comes alive, in most girls when they see, something that they can take care of. So we're not, making an argument, on a certain level here. We're just saying that there are differences, and there's a difference in how we're designed, and we have to be able to honor that. And so my question for men is literally, how many of our men, because I want to ask this, how many of you as men, have you felt pressure from trying to help a woman? Have you felt pressure when it came, down to should you or should you not help a woman? Young, old, whatever. And I'll start with you. Have you ever had that pressure, or the being challenged with you having to hold back from helping?
Yeah, that's happened. And let me address this piece.
Okay.
That has happened before.
And then you gonna come back to
because it's a part of your question. I'm asking you the question.
I ain't gonna let them on.
So look, some of our guys, the whole catcalling thing, and some guys, have made it difficult for us who don't catcall and who's not interested in folks sexually, or have that that very minority viewpoint toward women. I say minority because I know there are guys out there that's not thinking about sex every 7 seconds, like some of these crazy studies came out saying
Wow.
that. Yeah, no, I got too much, man. Really, really.
So you dispel that.
Yeah, man. So, and I know I ain't an anomaly.
Mhm.
I mean, if you think about it, that's just not not right. But
I
anyway,
hope not.
so yes, so I will come forth and say that yes, I do recognize that some of our brothers have made it difficult for us
Sure.
to get into for dealing with women.
Mhm.
So that's been times, for instance, there's a little bit of a duality. There's some things that I will say to an older woman that I would not say, and not all older women, because I'm saying,
Because there's some cougars,
yeah,
some real bona fide
mhm,
cougars
mhm,
that are way older
yeah, but that
than
yeah, but just
some young
mhm,
men.
uh-huh.
Yeah, go ahead with
So
your stories.
anyway, I know what to say. I like to say things to people that I figure, and it's just been a habit of mine, especially knowing that a lot of my brothers sometimes don't feel they feel like Gideon. And one of the things that the angel said to Gideon, he know that Gideon was the least of his family.
Mm.
He know that he was the least of his family and all these different things. However, he did not uh, take that into account. And he said, mighty man. He said that's what he said to Gideon.
Mhm.
So for you guys out there who wonder why I call everybody mighty man, I'm telling you, I'm saying something that I'm sure nobody said to you that day.
So true.
Mighty man.
So true.
And so just to speak it to my brother, according to my foundation, I believe, that we should exhort one another unto good works, right?
Absolutely.
So if I affirm my brother, something that's not common amongst us, just to get the ball, rolling, do my little piece that I can do in the community. So
back to my
with
question.
the women, I'm gonna get to the women in the same way with ladies.
Mhm.
I might say, how you doing, magnificent, or whatever. I know a lot of people don't like that whole sweetie thing. I stay away from stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we in the South.
Right. Right.
And that's just something I don't do the little pet names, whatever. I may say beautiful, but it's only to people that I know that they know that I don't have
This
intent.
thing for you,
Like I'm trying to holler.
You're trying to push up.
Now, I did have an interesting situation at
We know
at Texas Children's.
We know you did.
Really? What's really going on? Look, I'm gonna tell you the situation when we come right back after this quick commercial break.
Hey guys.
We hope you're enjoying the show.
Yes. Now, many of you ask, where are they now, right? Well, here's where you can find out. You can find out in our new interactive ebook, How We Manifested Our Extreme Makeover, right? Where you're going to find out about our pre-extreme makeover experience, our during the extreme makeover, and the post, what we've been up to lately.
Yes.
Experience.
Get the inside scoop from the perspective of the girls and Eric and I, from birthday parties to blessing parties to community events and family events. I mean, we've done them all right here.
Right here. So get your copy today. Hit the link and pre-order your copy today.
Of How We Manifested Our Extreme Makeover. Pre-order your copy
Today.
We better
answer my question. Sorry. Hey.
Anyway, okay. So you want me to tell the story, or you want me to answer the question?
I want you to answer the question.
I am answering the question because I have
read my beautiful black skin. No,
So,
really.
It does. And this is one of the things, that's terrifying for men. for somebody to say. So I was at Texas Children, when I was working at Texas Children's, I got on I got on the elevator and I said, "Good day, beautiful." And nothing. I was thinking some other people was gonna come on with, behind me. Nobody got on, and it was this little white lady, older white lady. And so I just turned around and just faced her. She smiles. How you doing? And it was on the express elevator, so we had several floors to go through, right? And I heard this sniffle behind me. I was like, and I kind of turned around. I said,
Oh my goodness.
"Man, are you okay?" I was like, "Don't engage, Johnson. Don't engage. Just stay forward. Just
Right.
looking ahead."
What did Denzel say in what's the movie? The movie where he was like, I stay the course, stay the course.
Oh, not I'm Legend.
Oh
but,
my goodness.
But talking about Book of Eli.
Book of
Yeah,
Eli.
it's not your business. Not your business.
Not your business.
So I was like, "Oh man, this lady is crying on here, and I'm the only one on this elevator." And I pray that there's nobody on the other side of them doors when the doors open, because they gonna think I did something wrong. And so the ride was long, but she began to explain. She said, "So, I'm sorry, sir, but it's like nobody has ever called me beautiful. I just realized that nobody's called me beautiful. My daddy didn't call me beautiful, and my husband, excuse me, of so many years, never called me beautiful." I was like,
Wow.
it brought me to tears. So I wasn't so worried to go up to the floor. I wasn't so worried now because both of us crying. Excuse me. But yes, so yeah, it is scary, and I keep my eyes open to that. Now I open doors for ladies if they allow me. And if they allow, I don't make no big deal out of it. If they don't tell me thank you, I don't make no big deal out of it because I'm gonna be me.
That's good.
I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
And everything. And so when sometimes folks soften up. For instance, I say this when I go to FedEx office because sometimes that happens. And while I'm in there printing and everything, when I leave out, if they're in there for FedEx or whatever, I had one lady say, "Thank you for opening the door for me." And I realized I didn't say it and everything because I wasn't trying to holler at you, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes the young ones, I won't do nothing.
So there's a pullback,
Yeah.
that you have sometimes. So are you saying that it's primarily because, you're thinking that a woman, may take it in the way that you're trying to
Take it the wrong way, like I'm trying
push up on
to
her?
holler.
Or is it that, the woman may feel like, I don't need, you to do anything for me because I can do it for myself?
Well, it depends on the lady, really. In the situation or the scenario. Yeah,
So you deal with both.
For me, yeah. I mean, and you never really know because I don't engage. I'm just there to open the door. I was there, either if I'm there first or I'll maneuver around them. I say, I got that, man. And that's about it.
Right. And that's so true. And I think, it's blurred the lines, and that's the really unfortunate part about what we're talking about tonight is, in my opinion, and I am a woman, all woman, and
yes, you are an older woman too.
Okay, see. Anyways, 88 days, sir, and they have passed. So you and I are the same age. However, but no, I think it's quite unfortunate for one because we have our sons, not us particularly, but we have young men, right?
Yeah.
There are sons that are coming up and they're seeing this and they're seeing now they're faced with this struggle of, can I, just simply help? Can I, come to the rescue? And I've heard, the complaints of many of our women, and especially our sisters, our Black sisters, that's like, we're not, we many times we're not fought for. We're not, no man is really standing up for us, even, of our own race and culture.
Mhm.
And so that's a problem, and I think that's a whole, that's, stems to a whole nother topic or what have you. But it does still blur the lines of what a man feels like he can do, and that it won't be taken or won't be misconstrued, in simply just being able to be helpful, protecting, really, serving, like what you're
Mhm.
saying, in the capacity
Mhm.
of, can I just, I'm built differently. So let me handle,
Right.
this, let me grab this for you. And truly, I face that, and going places. I don't mind, if most times my husband is with me. And so I tell you guys all the time that, in times when we go up to a door, I step aside. It's an automatic thing for me.
It's funny to see other people that might be going out with us,
Right.
and they're like,
what is she waiting
"What's the
on?
matter with you? What's the matter with you, girl?"
Yes. Like,
It's
girl,
like,
what you got your hands?
"Hold on, my husband's."
But then you also see where they actually, it's like the guard semi comes down, and it's like, oh, okay, and so it's something that we really want, and I don't want for our, for our men to continue to struggle with that.
Right, right.
I really don't, because our sons, and they need to see that it is okay to be, chivalrous, that it is okay to, to come to the rescue, of another who is perhaps, in need of your help. And I don't even want to deal with the whole thing about saying somebody's weaker, because we know that, yes, we have the whole thing where the women are bodybuilding and all this kind of stuff or what have you. And we're not taking anything away from anybody and what it is that you want to pursue, but we are still saying that the design of man and woman are simply different. And we have to acknowledge that.
Physiology.
Physiology, mind wise, and so many other
so
ways.
The hormones in the body will determine some things too. So in that, but it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you think could help in this time? I feel like, for one thing, we can be more. That sounds like the bedtime alarm of an older male in the room. But anyways, but no, so I'm looking at how we can, help, like in the ways of, when we see a man wanting to, assist, right? To not so much feel like we got to turn him down, right? It proves nothing to, to me or anybody else whether or not, I'm capable of opening my door. Sure, I'm capable. When I walk into a place and my husband's not with me, of course, do I open my own door? Absolutely. Do I drive myself? Absolutely. Do I, go and mow the yard? Absolutely not. But that didn't help my case. But no. But it's not based upon gender. It's based upon service, right?
Yeah.
And so, but
and the agreement that we have,
and the agreement that we have in our relationship.
There's some ladies that are.
Yes, they love to do
that
yard.
time we saw that older lady. She was like, was she like 79, almost 80, and she was doing her yard. That's what she enjoyed doing. So
my grandmother, who lived in this property, she did her own yard. She, you would come and she's mowing. She's on her riding lawnmower. She's doing the, she didn't have a yard man. My grandfather had passed, right, and so he had been. I never met him, so for more than 30 years, he was gone. So she did her own yard. And, there were times when my brother would be dropped off or what have you to help, or, her sons. But for the most part, it's not a thing as who can and who cannot do it. But course, with us, that's just our, our way. And I love that. I love that. Let me repeat, I love that. So, but my husband, he enjoys it. And that's what I love about it, is that he enjoys it.
And you come out and help me when I'm working on the cars.
And I do.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, but I do want to, speak on that.
Leave your comments and leave a comment. Tell us what have you experienced, guys. What have you experienced, and how do you think we can turn the tide and bring some balance to this? I'm not saying that we don't want to deal with hyper-masculinity or toxic masculinity. Yes, but that don't mean you throw a baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Right? If you feel me, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel
this, okay. All right. But so let's look at the fact that as we, prepare to close is, I think in just simply saying things, like thank you, and showing appreciation that, if you see a man, and he's wanting to assist or what have you, and now we know how to watch our women's intuition and so on and so forth. I'm not telling you to let
just let your guard down.
Yeah, don't let your guard down.
You know when Roscoe coming over there.
Okay.
Hey there, mama, how you doing, that guy? You're sure looking good.
Right. But but literally, teach our young men, how to help. Teach our young men how to, know that it's okay for them, to actually lend a helping hand when you see, someone in, need or struggling, what have you. And so, but saying thank you, to when help is offered,
right?
And showing again kindness and appreciation.
Right.
When men have opened the door for me or done things, for me or what have you, and carried something for me, I got that mighty man from my husband. I stole it, and I would say, "Wow,
you did what? Like the kids? Like the kids?
What?
You stole that from me, just like you did the kids." All right.
So I would also say to the men, thank you so much. Well, thank you, mighty man. And I go on my way. It ain't like I'm waiting for him to. No, I'm literally appreciative. And again, I can see and I can tell, that they're so appreciative, and it's like it builds. You can see them being built up, so to speak. So I think being able to say, and be expressive to, when kindness is done by a man.
Right. In the same way, guys, let it be out of respect and honor. Because for me, that's what I do it for. I'm not telling you to be like me or whatever, but I'm just saying, it's just out of respect and honor.
Yeah.
You've heard the term or the saying that the hand that rocks the cradle ruled the world, or whatever. But just think about it. What a woman does for society. I saw something the other day about these guys talking about these hard jobs that women do, that women don't do, because it's you get kickback. It's a knee-jerk reaction, when a person is being attacked or feel attacked. So men are feeling attacked, so they starting to say, "Oh, if we're gonna talk about equality, then why don't y'all come out here and work in this oil field? Why don't you come out here and do this underground welding and stuff like that? Come on, let's talk. If we gonna talk about equality, and all of this hoorah about this and everything." So and they feel like that.
Pendulum, it goes from one extreme
but
to the other.
If each, I think what's missing, instead of keeping count, guys, ladies and gentlemen, instead of keeping count, let's choose to appreciate the differences.
Appreciate the differences.
Just appreciate the differences.
That's so good. And not try to undermine one another.
No.
Yeah.
Because you got. I know there are welders out there that are female.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are mechanics out there that are female.
And some good ones.
I know, yes, and I know there's a lady out here at OST, Old Spanish Trail, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, a woman who is out there with her hydraulic jack and all her tools, and she fixing folks' cars. You hear me? Folks come and ask her, she changing oil. understand this lady, and she's not 20 or 30-year-old woman.
Mhm.
She is out there getting it in, and she's still feminine,
Mhm. Right.
or whatever. But she just have a talent and an ability and a skill that she didn't allow her physiology to limit her in doing such. But yeah, let's appreciate one another.
Yeah.
Frank said, let's take away the battle of the sexes,
Yes.
and get into the basking of the sexes.
Yeah.
I tried.
And celebrate, one
Celebrate.
another, right? Celebrate each other, because we are all created and designed by the most awesome. I mean, the creator saw fit that the differences, the contrast, as you say, was needed.
Yes.
And it's not being better than the other.
Yes.
It's just the contrast. And so that is what we want to appreciate and to teach that it's okay, it's okay. And so this is on behalf of our men, our mighty men.
Yes.
We want you to know that we see you.
Yes, because the last few lives, they've been like, been you're on your boys, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
And babe,
yes, man, you see me?
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Respect and honor.
Well, what are their names? What are their names?
Introduce you to respect and honor. I don't think they can see it. They can't see it. That's for you. That was for you.
That
anyway.
was all for me.
That was for you anyway. So listen, y'all. Listen, real quick. I just want to shift gears. And hey, listen. If you're in a serious relationship, if you're dating somebody, you're in a serious relationship, you want to, go a little further, or just get to know where it's going.
Yeah.
Consider go to our on-demand course.
Yes.
Start right, stay right, right, and see what your not just your compatibility, but get into each other's understanding.
Mm-hmm.
What is your understanding of a good husband? What is your understanding of a good wife? What is your understanding of money and children and money and children? And what's your personality?
And
because
the differences, the contrast.
The contrast, yeah. Don't expect everything to be, the same or whatever. But find out about your personality and whether or not the personality will come up in the cheering.
How you communicate. What is your communication style? Right. The
all of
simple
those
things. Your love language and your apology language.
Yes.
All of those things we want to know that this is important, and we want
that part is
how
not
to
in
hone in.
That part is
that's not
apology.
part of this one. Yes.
Yes.
But we still offer it. So
yeah.
yes.
So
depends on what package you choose.
Right. So it's premarital also. So if you're engaged and before you get married, it's a wonderful way to go in and it's a working document. It is.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have it's a workbook in there that you're gonna have that you can revisit year after year and just see if you on point. If you get a physical checkup year after year, your well man, well woman checkup and so on and so forth, get your well marriage checkup.
Okay.
All right? Get your well relationship checkup.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure it's one of my favorite teachers, Miles Monroe. He talked about he visited his death once a year, and so every year he looked at his his trust, all of his estate planning that he had annually, because there might be changes made. Matter of fact, there might be assets that are brought on. Different things that have happened financially, maybe another. That's an asset of property, or if I wrote another book and it's bringing in this kind of income, I need to make some adjustments or whatever. But he said he did that every year, right? And so it's the same way. That's a financial checkup, and the same with your relationship. Get your relationship, get a checkup on your relationship and start right, stay right. On demand, it's on demand at your comfort of your own home. You ain't got to go nowhere. On your own time,
Yes.
And so on and so forth.
Yes.
So,
and start right, stay right, of course, is so recommended by us because we can attest to the fact that we didn't have a lot of the issues right, that normal couples, or I don't want to say normal couples, but many couples, right, who have come to us and they said, listen, this was a struggle. Our first year of marriage was hell. Okay. And we didn't have that because we had certain things that were put in place. And that's what this course does, is it puts certain things in place, which are mentorships, and just, to be able to bounce off, what your ideas are, and to get wisdom and insight on how to, literally make sure that you are staying in that vein of really studying your partner so that you can continue to live and enjoy your partner. And that's why we want to do it. That's why we do it.
Yes, ma'am. So go and get that. We're here. We have a la carte sessions as well. Relationship coaching and personal life coaching. That's available for those people who are single. We have some events coming up. I can't mention them just yet. We're working on the particulars. But stay tuned. All right.
Yes.
What else? Is there anything else?
This is good. I mean, I think there's not my mind is not working right now.
All right.
So I'm on
shift gears.
No, but I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Well, listen, we bid you a great evening. Have a great evening with your family. Tell your spouse you love them. Tell your children you love them.
Yes.
And in this time, in this season, according to the scriptures, we're going into atonement soon. So in that time, you reflect. And you begin to examine yourself and see if you're living the life that you were born to live.
And this is the time and the season to expect certain things to surface. Don't be caught off guard or surprised that when certain things surface, right, that you need to deal with, that you need to handle, that you need to bring attention to in your relationships with your covenant and with those that are in your family and outer circle as well. So again, that's something that we still offer at this time as well. It's for marriages too. Come and work.
Hands down. Get ready for National Marriage Week. We are 6 months out, actually 5 months out. So it's coming. National Marriage Week, once again, February 7th through the 14th. All right. Other than that, peace and multiply blessings.